the war broke out, which I can't remember. I can't even remember how old I was. But I know that we got used to the sirens, and school, you just went to school 2 or 3 days a week. You took your books, the teachers marked it, gave you some work, and you brought it home. My father went into the services, but he was transferred up to Nottingham. So Mum and I went up there. I don't know where Irene and Laurie were, but we went up there, and we stayed with a very nice man in a little old house in Nottingham. I can't even remember when he went off to war, but well, he went to India. And then, of course, Laurie went in the Navy during the war. And Mum used to, Mum used to iron his shirts. He was so meticulous. I mean, his shoes had to be shiny. In fact, I think he painted the toes with some sort of, they weren't patent leather, but he painted the toes, painted the shoes so that they looked polished all the time. And when she ironed his shirt, if there was a speck of dirt on the collar, he wouldn't wear it. And Mum had to look after all the bills and everything. And also it did her a lot of good, because she wasn't very aware of what to do, but she had a friend who was very good, and they got together very well. So it gave Mum a lot of confidence. And then, of course, the bombing started, and you could have a shelter either in the house, I think that might have been called a Morrison, or you could have it in the garden. Well, the fact of having all the bricks falling on you if you were in the house, we couldn't bear that, so we went in the garden. And Mum put a big mattress all over the shelter in the garden, and at night time we'd go out there and get on the mattress. And little Granny, I'm not sure how old she was, we used to push her in. She used to take a long time to get in, so we'd push her in, and of course she'd be there and she'd be moaning all the time. And then suddenly Mum would disappear and Laurie would disappear. They'd go into the house and go to bed, which was okay, but we didn't realise that. And then, of course, the doodlebugs came over, and we didn't understand what they were. Mum and I didn't, obviously. And when we heard them, we were told that they came over, and we weren't frightened of them at all because we didn't know anything about them. So Mum and I went shopping. We went to the end of the road to do some shopping. And so when we heard them and we heard the siren, we just put our umbrellas up. So we thought, that's lovely, we'll be safe. So we went, did our shopping and came back. But Laurie, he wanted to see what was happening. He'd run up the stairs and go in the top room and look for the doodlebugs to come over. And then they'd stop, and when they stopped, you all waited to see where it would land, because you didn't know, how if it was going to hit you or what. But the doodlebugs were a bit frightening. When we were in the shelter, I must say I was frightened then, because especially when I knew Mum was going in and Laurie going in the house, I used to worry that the house would be hit, and we would be safe and they would be dead in the house. Then I did worry about being safe. We were evacuated. Irene went with the school. She went to Devon with her friend, and in the end she was loved so much by the people that she stayed with, they wanted to adopt her. So with that, as soon as Mum heard she was down in Devon like a shot, grabbed Irene and brought her back and told her off, and that was that. So that was Irene. Laurie and I, we went to Shropshire to stay with an auntie. And because there was no room in Auntie's house, he went next door with the Salts, Mr. and Mrs. Salt, and they had a son, so he was as happy as a sandboy. But unfortunately, Mum visited us. So when she visited us, Laurie came in and he said, I'm going back home, bomb or no bombs. Oh yes, we had rationing, of course. We had a ration book. And you were allowed so many sweets on your ration book. And so for Mum's birthday, because she liked sweets, we all saved our rations. And for her birthday, we gave her a box with all the sweets that she liked. We'd saved up. So she really loved that, because we'd you know, we'd not eaten any of our rations. It was his voice, because he was so confident and so commanding. You had such faith in him, you know. He made you feel that definitely we would win the war. I mean, it was just the sound of his voice. He was just the perfect person for a war, you know. Nobody would thought we would ever lose the war. It was, and the morale in England was so high. And even though the bombs were coming down, and nobody complained. It was just one of those things. I think because Churchill, we had so much confidence in him, even though the bombs were coming down, we just thought that it wouldn't affect us, you know, that we would be safe. But no, nobody thought we would lose. And even with the rationing and the queuing, and everybody was cheerful. I can remember us having a party, a street party, you know, and everybody was out in the street.